What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Sport Vitamins. Today we talk about high school basketball with Jeremy Russotti. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hello. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for having me.
First of all, congrats on Jalen Green joining the G League.
Oh, thank you.
That's huge. We're going back to Jalen later on during the podcast. So, why don't we start with a little background?
Yeah. So I am. Let's see. I went to college, was a biomechanics and kinesiology major, and I was going to be a doctor, and I got really into coaching basketball and training, and I started coaching at a very young age. Had a ton of success coaching, and at that point decided that I don't think I could go to medical school, and decided to stay into coaching. And at that time, I started doing a lot of training and reading, read a lot of books, watched a lot of videos, and started questioning biomechanically what a lot of these skill development coaches, which were at the time, we were all reading books by Bobby Knight and all these old coaches that were just coaches, and they seemed to teach everybody how to play the game of basketball. And so I started applying some of my concepts that I thought were relevant to more of a functional side, and I started utilizing that with one of my high school basketball players named Josh Okoyen. Quick story, he was the only kid on campus that was African American. I was a 22-year-old varsity basketball coach, 22, 23, and I basically made him play basketball. And 4 years later, he was a state player of the year over James Harden in California. And in 9 years, he made the NBA. So he ended up playing for the Dallas Mavericks and the Memphis Grizzlies. So, without his story, it's my story. Without Josh Okoyen and that relationship and his skill development, I definitely wouldn't be here today. Other things, at the same time, I invented 3 products: the J Glove shooting aid, the J Strap. I invented a golf product, so I'm an innovator as well. And then, of course, 7 years ago, I started Prolific Prep, which is another new chapter, which is our national prep school. So I stay busy in basketball, and I try to do as much as I can.
And you just won the national championship, right?
Yeah. So we finally won the national championship this past year. Real culmination of the hard work of our staff. So we were really excited to finally win that.
So how did it all start with Prolific Prep?
Well, it started, probably because of my training philosophies. I used to train a lot of really, really good players. Most of the number one players in the country would come live with me in high school. And I had camps every year. And then Josh Jackson, who plays now with the Memphis Grizzlies, his mom flew out with Josh when he was a freshman in high school. And I never heard who he was. And Josh came to our camp, which also had Marquise Chris with the Golden State Warriors at the time. They were both in high school. And the mom really liked our training. And she said, I don't want my son to leave. I want him to go to school here, and I want you to mentor him. And at the time, I didn't know anything about prep schools. But fast forward 1 year later, we agreed to it, and we started Prolific Prep. So it started with Josh Jackson and his mom wanting us to basically mentor him and develop him into a really good player.
Wow, that's great. You guys are recruiting players from all over the world, right?
Absolutely, man. That's part of my job is I get to decide who's a part of the program, but I also get to fly all over the world and go find kids. So just like how I met you, Roberto. We met in Serbia, and I'm out there running camps. I'm recruiting, meeting people. So yeah, we got kids from all over the world, various countries, which we're really proud of. Especially we've sent, I think, 13 kids from Africa to Division I colleges, which is a big honor for us to help a lot of these kids from around the world.
Yeah, right now you have a solid base of alumni, right?
What's that solid base of what?
Alumni.
Say it again.
How do you say that? Like ALUMNI?
Oh, alumni.
Solid base of alumni.
Alumni. I was like, okay, I didn't know what you're talking about. Okay, alumni. Yeah, we do. If you look at us, we've had 5 McDonald's All-Americans, which is amazing. Josh Jackson, Marquise Chris was one who helped start us this program with the camp, the Warriors. Gary Trent for the Portland Trailblazers, who's having a phenomenal year before the coronavirus came. Josh, obviously, Josh. I think this next draft, Paul Scruggs from Xavier will get drafted in the second round, it looks like. And then, of course, I think Jalen Green will be the number one pick of the NBA draft. So I think we definitely got some more guys that'll get drafted. But if not, we've had so many kids that we've worked with, trained, even kids that don't play for us, we still help them. And so we definitely have our stamp on a lot of really good players.
But you have a kind of a European model over there, right? It's not a regular high school.
So we have partnered with a private school. So our kids go to a private school called Napa Christian, which has the most amazing principal and staff ever. They love our children. They support our kids. They look at them not as basketball players. They look at them as kids that have gifts from God. And so they really, really, really nurture them, hold them accountable, of course, and teach them everything, but allow them a little bit more, say, freedom to practice their gifts, just as if they were a really good pianist or a cello player or whatever it may be. So we're very lucky to have that partnership, which allows our kids to spend a lot of time traveling and training because our schedule is really built towards our academy as well.
Got it. What's your biggest challenge when you recruit players?
Biggest challenges is, parents before allowing their kids to maybe come out to the West Coast in California to live on their own. We do have some of our parents come out and move with their kids, but letting their babies go for a year or two is probably the hardest thing. But as we've shown, it changes lives. Our platform absolutely can change your life.
What about non-English speaking kids? Is it tough for them?
No, not really. We've had, 8 or 9 kids come in, don't speak any English. They learn it within 6 months. Most of our staff speaks French. We always have so many kids that speak French in our program, or people in the community that might speak the language of that player. So usually within 6 months they're fluent. So it's a problem early on, but it's something that it gets overcome easily.
Okay. What's your coaching philosophy over there at Prolific Prep?
Recruit the best athletes in the world and let them run and play basketball and train the hell out of them and let them showcase who they are. Try not to control them and play fast and play hard defense. And we play the toughest schedule probably in the country. We travel all over the United States. We play on national TV. So you just got to be ready. So when you have guys like that, you got to let them play, but you got to just push them hard, ride them hard.
How many ESPN games did you play this year?
We had 3 this year, but we made the national championship Geico event, but that got canceled. So we could have had 2 more. But next year, I think we have 4 already planned.
Wow, that's crazy. You're definitely in the spotlight with all those games. But
we're excited.
That could be also a backfire, right, for young athletes?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think our staff does a good job of keeping them level-headed. There's no secret they do get a lot of attention, and they do they have to sign a lot of autographs, and the girls, I'm sure, and the Instagram and all that. But every team's different. Some years are harder than others. Some years we have problems with some of our players with their mind. But this year's team was very disciplined. No issues of sorts. But I don't know if you guys are watching. We had the new TV show come out called Super Team on Overtime. And now we'll see how big time these players become with the new show. So we'll see how big their heads get after episode 14 comes out. But episode 2 came out on Sunday, and I think it got like 250,000 views in one day. And it's a great show on Overtime. Subscribe, watch our Prolific Prep Super Team. I just watched episode 3. It hasn't come out yet. It is funny, phenomenal. It's a really good show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. I watched the show that you sent me. You sent me the link, and that was huge. That was great. I loved it.
It's entertaining. It's so funny. It's so funny. They did a good job making it a funny show with basketball. And there's no basketball on TV right now, so we hope that it becomes the most popular show around the world, and with, of course, Michael Jordan's show. But but hopefully people will watch it with the high school side and enjoy it and appreciate it.
All right. So one of your guys, Jalen Green, he just became the first high schooler to skip the NCAA and sign for a G League team. Do you want to tell us something about him?
Best decision he ever made. What he did really fits what we do at Prolific Prep. We always try to do things differently. Just like my career, I've always fought against what people say, and I changed, what a coach talks about training. I've always questioned it and found my own path. And this is just another way Prolific Prep is at the cutting edge of the basketball world and trying to do things that no one else has ever done. And for Jalen Green to, go against the grain of college and decide to make money early, I think it's the best decision for him. And I think he's absolutely going to change the landscape of basketball in the United States. I think you're going to see every year kids doing it. And you can always go back to college. You can always get your studies done. But he could never make up that 1 year of basketball because your body only has so many miles and so many years to play on. So I think, and he's the perfect guy to do it because he can handle it. He's mentally tough. He's physically tough. And he's an unbelievable player. Definite future NBA All-Star player.
And I have also read that the G League is providing them with a full scholarship, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, which is great. They should. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
And he can always go to school and finish it, and it could take 8 years, 5 years, whatever. He's got plenty of time. He's got nothing. When you're a basketball player, you'll have plenty of time to do that. So, if that's what he chooses to do, I think it's a great program that the NBA does.
And what kind of influence can a coach have on a player with this talent?
Well, Jalen, when he first came here, Jalen was good, but he really had to tighten up his skill, his shot. He didn't run the point guard really ever anywhere else, so he got to play, full-time point guard. His shooting ability really improved, but Jalen's really coachable. Jalen's a kid that does not force the game. He's pretty smart, man. He's almost like a coach. He's not a guy that'll go out there and shoot 25, 30 shots and not look at his teammates. He sets the table early. He gets everybody involved, and he finds his time, which is what all the great players do. So super coachable. If you tell Jalen to do something, he's going to do it. He doesn't miss practice. He doesn't miss games. He doesn't ask for anything special. So he's really an old school mentality, which is why he's probably going to be very successful.
Does he like to study the game?
Yeah, he knows the game. He's very intelligent. So he's very, 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 very smart. Very similar to Josh Jackson when he played with us. Josh was very similar. Like they almost know what play is going to happen next, almost like a coach. So, yeah, he's definitely someone who just studies hoops, and that's all he does, man. Jalen doesn't go out and party. Jalen's not out there chasing women. Jalen hoops, and that's all he does is watch it and play.
What kind of mental approach do you have with these kids?
Well, it's a grind, man. Our season is so long. It's hard because we travel more like an NBA team now. Every weekend, another city, filled arenas, and so mentally, guys can break down. A lot of guys do break down in our program. They do. The tough ones, of course, know how to hang to it, but it's not hard. It's not hard to keep your kids' minds right, your coaches, and the parents as well. A lot of stress, so it's definitely a challenge to keep everything together. But our co-director, Philippe Doherty, is an amazing person at keeping everything together, and so he does a great job of keeping the staff, players, parents, everybody on an equal keel to keep the season successful.
Do you also have a sports psychologist?
We don't. We don't have one. We did in the past, but he lives a little far away. He's worked with some of our players over the phone. Grant Beckhart, who's a really well-known sports psychologist, works with a ton of NBA players. But we didn't this year. But in the past, we've definitely had some guys that have worked with Graham, but more over the phone because he's about an hour and a half away.
And how important is physical development with these kids?
Oh, it's everything with us. You got to everything. Develop skills, the body. The travel schedule just breaks them down. We play so much, so between nutrition and the physical side, it's kind of what separates most of these kids in their programs as they move forward. So it's hard to get in when you travel a lot, but the recovery days, the massage therapists on the road, the different types of machines that we have for massage, leg. We got the leg warmers. We got the leg massage things. We got everything on the road to try to really help these guys recover quickly because they got to play back-to-back nights.
How many times a week do they lift weights?
Well, preseason they're doing at least 4. During the season, you're traveling all weekend. You got Mondays usually stretching yoga day, and then you might get a couple in, when you're during the season just to maintain.
Can you break down for us a regular day at Prolific Prep?
Yeah, regular day. So there's before school training, and it's more position training. So say 7 to 8 o'clock a.m. We're in the gym before school, and then we have class. Everybody has different schedules. Some have class full time. Some start school at 8:30. Some have class at 12. So we have that before school workout. We have a post-grad teams that practice from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. So we have 2 post-grad teams. Some of our high school kids will jump in sometimes with that if they don't have class. Then we have strength, and then sometimes we'll have people come in at lunchtime to NBA guys or to come work out with our guys. And then we have 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 p.m. strength and conditioning training. And then we have 8 to 9 and 9 to 10 p.m. before they sleep shooting class, just shooting. And it's optional for our high school kids, but so there's workouts all day that they can go to work on specific skills.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. And what's the main difference between in-season work and off-season work?
Well, off-season it's so much easier because you can just focus on whatever you want. Some kids will tell them, put the ball down and just do strength and conditioning. 90% of your effort, only strength and conditioning, 10% basketball. And so every guy's different, whereas some guys, they need way more skill. Their bodies are great, and so we need them doing, 80% basketball and 20% strength and conditioning. So every guy's different in the off-season of what the focus may be. During the season, it's maintaining, trying not to catabolize your muscle, your protein, and just trying to maintain the mass you have so it doesn't affect your fine motor skills and your muscles as well, stuff like that.
Are you still involved on the court with the guys?
This past year, not as much. I was early in the year, but 2 factors. Prolific is growing very big globally, and so I am putting more of the suit and tie on now and working behind the computer and building the brand. I was working on the TV show a lot and sponsors, and so I've been doing a lot more of the business side. And also I had back surgery about 3 months ago. So I missed a lot of the year because I had back surgery that really, really took me out for about 3 months. But I'm back. I'm ready. I'm ready for next year.
As a trainer or as a coach?
Still going to be the business guy, but I won't be coaching, but I definitely would love to get on the court and keep training again. I miss it. It's in my blood. It's what I've done my whole life.
What's the difference between training and coaching for you?
Well, training's like an art form to me. I like to do one-on-one. I really love one-on-one training. I can get so in the player's head. It's what I've loved to do. It's what I built my career on, was that one-on-one training with athletes to help them reach their goals. Coaching is more team. And so as a trainer, you might be teaching something, but as a coach, you don't want to teach that. You just want it all about the team. So there's definitely a fine line between the two and the difference. But I do love coaching. I love the strategy side of it. I miss it. I would love to coach again one day, but right now it's not what I can do. I got to keep building all these different programs and keep Prolific on top.
Most of our listeners are young coaches and young strength coaches. What's the one piece of advice that you would like to give them?
Intern. Intern. If you get a good internship and you learn from really good people, your life will change. And, I think I found that as well. And volunteer. Don't ask for money. Volunteer. Be a volunteer. If you do that, those people will take care of you. That's just, you got to grind. If you don't put sweat equity into your career, you have no chance in this world. So people come to me all the time, I want a job. And I'm like, a job? Yeah, I want a job. I want to work for you. Well, you gotta come sweat with me. You gotta earn this. Prolific, it took so many people years to build it into what it is today. And not one person's just gonna step in and be a part of it. You gotta earn it. And that's everything in life. And so I think if people have that attitude of and we have interns that come to us that now work for us because they just grind and they just show us that they bleed Prolific just as much as we do. That's how you end up being a part of a family like that.
How important is networking when it comes to recruit players?
Oh, that's all I do all day. Me and this phone all day. I got people all around the world, man. Just like, people like yourself, or if it's, Dejan in Serbia, and I got guys in Africa. So I got people all around in different states, if it's Texas or New York. And so people trust us. They like us. And so now it's all about, connecting to our network of people that like our program, know what we do. And so I got to constantly keep in touch with those folks and keep traveling and to try to find, the hidden gems that we want to help be a part of our program. So, if it's social media, if it's LinkedIn, you absolutely have to stay on top of your networking, because you never know how someone can help you and how you can help them as well.
What's the best way to reach out to another coach?
Send a very detailed email. That's what I would do. Resume. And if you have any videos, send video. Everybody's a visual learner. And so if you have video of you training someone or your program, then you send a resume. And then the most important thing for me is references. When people send me stuff, I will call the references if I have an opening, and that's what I go by. I mean, I go by what they say. If someone's going to talk really good about somebody and I think they have credibility, then obviously, they're not going to lie to me. So make sure you have really, really good references along with those other things.
All right, Jeremy. Usually we finish off with 3 rapid-fire questions, okay? First one, your favorite basketball drill?
Favorite basketball drill, or as a team or as a trainer?
Oh, give me both.
Trainer. Okay, well, we have this one-on-one drill. I think one-on-one's the best way to develop your skills, because if you can't beat someone one-on-one, you can't play basketball, and if you can't guard someone one-on-one, you can't play basketball. So we have a nice one-on-one drill where we have we can go from the top of the wing, and we have 2 extra players that are at the elbows, a little outside the elbows, that can still participate. So it's actually 1 against 3, but they can't really move, but they can use their arms to swipe at the ball. And so we do different parts of the gym like that, where it's 1 against 3. So you have to beat your man, but you also have to finish with another guy below that plays like 50%. So that's my favorite development drill for basketball. Coaching, shell drill, defense. I'm a defensive guy, so I have, 15 different series. So when I'm coaching, man, that's what I did. I built my teams around defense and shell and have different concepts and rotations that we did through those daily.
All right. Best player you have ever worked with?
Best player ever worked with? Oh, best player. Well, God, I'd have to say at this point, I'd have to say Jalen Green. I think he's the most skilled player, the best offensive player. Josh Jackson was the best defensive player I've ever coached and trained. Shabazz Muhammad was probably the most physical, and got to work with Ben Simmons, who was just the most skilled in high school when he was young in 8th grade. I got to work with him when he was young, but Probably Jalen Green is probably, and then Josh Okoye I'd say is my favorite because I basically raised him through high school. He made the NBA. I owe my life and my career to him. He's only 5'10". He still makes money playing in China, so he's the best scorer I've ever coached, by far the best scorer.
Okay. You guys are in the Napa Valley, so I gotta ask this one. Your favorite California wine?
I don't drink wine, so
No.
I know that sounds crazy, but I don't drink wine. I get it for free. I really don't drink it, so I'm the worst person to ask that question. What's your favorite? I'll ask you that question. What's your favorite?
I don't know about Californian wine. I know about Italian wine, but
yeah, Italian wine. Yeah.
All right, Jeremy. Thanks for taking the time and hanging out with us today. I really loved it.
Anytime. And I'm trying to get back to Europe. I need to go see Decky and get back to Belgrade and get out to Croatia. And I'm trying to get back there as soon as I can and enjoy the area and hopefully recruit and find some really good players.
All right. Great. Thank you.
You got it. Take care now.